Good morning, my name is Karen Kong and welcome to my This or That Thursday. Every week I try to post 2 cards in my Facebook group and I ask my crafting community to pick a card for me to make live on Thursdays. Normally I would be live at 9 a.m. but today I had an appointment to go to and it ran longer than I thought it would be. So thank you for waiting, for those of you joining me live. I appreciate it. And this is the card we are making today. It's a fun fold and actually you're kind of getting like a 2-for-1 because the other card is the same fold except that it opens up. Okay, so I'll show you when I have my my computer set up and my phone mounted for my desk, and I'll show you both cards. Let me just get that going. I'm just gonna get this loaded on my computer screen so I can respond to comments while we're crafting. It's nice to be able to craft together, so please do ask questions, say hi, tell me where you're watching from, and chat with me because it's more fun when we craft together. Just a second, I'm just getting this up and running. All right, the computer's all set up and running. I'm gonna switch my phone over to my desktop mount, so just close your eyes while I move it. I'll be able to show you what we're looking at making today. Here we go. All right. Okay, so here is the 2 cards that I posted. Okay, so they are the same fun fold, except that one opens and one does not. Okay, so the original card opens like this, and you could decorate the inside. One of my team members actually put pattern like a DSP on the inside, which was a great idea. You could definitely do that. Okay, and this one is the exact same thing, except that I glued it shut. So this one does not open, and I put in a piece that pulls out. Instead of gluing the mat as I did for this card right onto the back of the card, I made this a pull out. You can make it a card, like mine is a card, so you can actually open this, but you can make it just a single sheet to make it thinner, and just you know, you could write front and back, so totally up to you. And this is my first chance to play with the beach dies set, and it's really fun. I really like the little palm tree it makes, and the little beach, the lifeguard beach house. I think that's fun. So yeah, so there's a lot of pieces to this card. I've already gone ahead and pre-cut a bunch of this to save us time. But because what I wanted to concentrate on was actually how to make the main card, the fold, and cutting out these pieces. I'll show you how I did that. Okay, so let's get started by doing the card base and trimming everything we need. So I'm going to move things out of the way and get that started. So we'll bring some my tools in. We're going to bring in my paper trimmer to start with. And I'm just going to make a little bit more room, move these off to the side. Okay. So if you're joining me for the first time, I do post my product list and all the measurements for the card in my video description afterwards. So you can just enjoy watching while I create. And then replay the video as many times as you like. You can watch it on YouTube. I have a channel on there, so like and subscribe if you are on YouTube. And I usually post the pictures also on Instagram. So you can find me on Facebook in my group, or on YouTube, or on Instagram. I do post to all 3 socials. Okay, so my first thing that I'm going to create is the card base, so the pocket that this sits in. And it is 1 whole piece. You can take 1 whole piece of 8.5 by 11 and cut it in half at the 4 1/4. So halfway, we're going to cut that in half. Okay, and then we're going to score it at 5.5. Both of them are scored. I could have actually scored the whole thing. and then cut it, but no matter. Okay, so that's scored, and then this is scored. Hi, Kathy, thank you. Oh, are you telling me that it's warm where you are? I'm jealous. Colorado mountains, actually that doesn't sound that warm. It sounds kind of a little bit cold. Tell me if I'm wrong. We had some warmer temperatures here in Ottawa and things were melting, but now it's snowing again. We're getting another 5 centimeters, and I think the temperature is going to drop again tomorrow. So it was a brief reprieve from the winter weather, but it's coming back. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining. Okay, so that is the card base. I also need Crumb Cake for the matting on the front pieces here. Kathy says it's being warm, having a warm spell too, so like us. Okay, so the Crumb Cake piece, I'm not going to do this piece inside yet, okay? I'm just going to take care of the outside, because the inside is a standard card, just slightly smaller. Many of you will be able to recreate that fairly easily. I'm going to concentrate on the actual fold itself. So these matting pieces here are 4 by 5 1/4. It's a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock cut in half, so 4 inches wide. So let's cut that, and then 5 1/4 this way, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'll cut it on the diagonal by lining up the corners into the cutting groove. Okay. Okay, so that gives you your 2 triangle pieces, and one of them you'll have to flip over like this. So let's put that aside. And then I had done the same thing with a piece of white. Okay, so I took a slightly smaller pieces. So the white piece, I took a 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of white, and actually I took 2 of them like that, and I cut them in half diagonally, same thing. The only thing is that because I actually went and then cut with the deckled rectangles. If you remember those were retired, I don't remember when, but they are retired. And I took the largest piece that I could cut with the largest die, and I cut it out of that piece that the white. So like the measurements are approximate for, they're exact for if you use a straight rectangle. But if you want to use the deckled rectangle, I think it fits on that piece. So you get a tiny bit smaller piece, but it fits. So if you decide to use the deckled rectangle to create the same kind of bordering effect, I cut it out and then I slice it in half. I just found that because when I flip it over so that I can create my 2 triangles like this, I found the back side didn't look quite right of the rectangle. So I created I cut 2 rectangles, okay? So 2 rectangles, 2 deckled rectangles. I cut one from bottom left to top right, and the other one I cut the opposite way. So then I could mix and match my triangles after cutting with the deckled rectangle, and they would look correct, the right side up, okay? I'm sorry if that's confusing, but you would see as soon as you do this one time and you'll go to turn them this way to fit on your card, you'll see that the back side does not look quite right, and what you'd have to do is take a second piece and just cut it diagonally the other way. So hopefully that makes sense. I went ahead and did that, of course, to make my first card. So I had an extra set left over, and I've already done the edge of this. So you realize that the outside of this is a deckled edge, but the diagonal, obviously because you cut with your paper trimmer, is not deckled. So, but I wanted to make it match. So what I did was I took a smaller deckled rectangle, because I'm trying to put this through the cut and emboss machine at an angle. I always had pieces sticking out and I couldn't get it through the cut and emboss machine. Let me show you what I mean. All right, here's my cut and emboss machine. Oh, I can see my screen looks crooked still. I don't know if that made it better or not. No, I think that's worse. Sorry. Okay, so if you notice, okay, so I want to make this this side deckled. So for me to fit it through without catching the sides of the machine, I couldn't do it with the largest rectangle, and it's not long enough even, so I'm gonna have to put it through twice to deckle this edge. Okay, so I took one of the smaller ones, and I think it was like a middle-sized one. Let's see if that fits. Let me take this one, because you want to make sure when it goes through that you don't have this getting caught and getting crunched inside the machine, right? You want it to, you want to have enough clearance that that's not going to happen, and for the die to make it through. So this is the size I'm going to use. It is. I figured it doesn't really matter to you when you try to match up the edges, because what happens is, because this is deckled, nobody can really tell that it doesn't match, because it is deckled. It's just kind of a random pattern, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't match up. So I didn't even try to match it up. I'm just setting it up so that it goes right along the edge of my my straight edge here, and I'm just kind of seeing that it's peeping out over the top. It's hard to make it exactly straight because obviously the deckled edge is not straight. Hi Janice, thank you for joining us. How's the weather where you are? I'm looking for my top plate. Okay, so I'm gonna put it through once to deckle that part of the triangle, and then I'll put it through a second time to deckle the other half. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I've cut out one side, and you see like it's just starting to dip or move upwards there, and I'll just cut that off too. Okay, so now I will take it and I'll move it over to the other side and deckle that side. And like I said, because it's not straight, I don't really have to measure or cut or sorry, match up the deckling. I'm just going to put it on this side and cut that. Okay. Oops. You can see that moved a little bit. I tried putting on some washi tape to hold it down, but maybe my washi tape may need a fresher strip because it wasn't holding it. And my machine is tight enough that if I place the washi tape on the paper, it will get impressed onto the paper. So I try to avoid sticking things on because it makes a line there. So some people, I've seen other demonstrators who have been able to run theirs through with tape or post-it notes holding their dies down, and they don't seem to have any issues with that, but mine creates a dent. It will put a little bit of like, it's basically dry embossing my edge with an edge that I didn't want. So I just try not to put the washi tape or any post-it notes right on this section that I want to keep. Okay, so let's run that through. Sounds like Janice is waiting for a storm to hit. I think I'm hopeful we're not going to get any more storms here. We've had enough snow for a little while. Okay, so see how that worked? Like, you don't even notice, you know, that there's like been a discontinuation in the deckling. It just looks like it all fits in. So that works really well to deckle the diagonal. So I just want to show you that. Okay. So I've already cut and embossed a whole bunch of other things. Oh, I do need to cut the card base so that you know how that works. Okay, let's bring back my paper trimmer. So what I'm going to do for one piece is I'm going to cut from bottom left to top right, and on the other piece I'm going to cut from bottom right to top left, so opposites. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna get another 5 centimeters today. Somebody was telling me it was gonna be 15, and I thought, no. And no, it's not gonna be 15, but there's gonna be something to shovel tonight, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm measuring, and I'm lining up the very end of my score mark here. And I know it's difficult for you to see, but it's the end of the score mark here at 5.5 inches with the bottom left corner. Okay, and I'm just going to take my trimmer and cut that. All right, so then I get a triangle. Okay, you're going to take the other piece and cut the opposite way. So this time I'm going to face it this way, and again line up with the end of my score mark here with the bottom right of this piece of paper, and we'll trim this off. And then you have 2 opposite cuts. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all I need right now. Let me just move this out of the way, and I'll just show you how to join it. So what we're going to do is open these up, okay, and I'm going to adhere them across the middle sections. Okay, so you're just basically laying this one on top right up to the score mark, but not covering it, so that you can fold properly and adhere those two together. Super easy. Okay, so I'm just going to take some glue, and we're going to put it close to our edge, but not too close, because you know that glue will squish, and you don't want it coming out the sides of your card. So I always leave a little bit of a gap so that it has a little bit of room to squish and not show up outside of the card, and it gives me time to move the paper around a little bit if it's not lined up properly. So this one worked out really well. It's like just matching up exactly, which is great. All right, so those are now adhered together, and I'm going to burnish my folds, and that is the basic card base. Super easy. Okay, so now it doesn't matter which way it closes. If you want to leave this as an open card like I did with the original, I mean, this is where you would decorate and just leave it open. Okay, so I'm going to put the crumb cake triangle pieces on. So it's just going to be centered and adhered right onto the front. So you'll have to flip over the original. So this piece was like this when we cut it, so I'm flipping it over, okay, to adhere to that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere those, so we don't lose them in the crafting mess that's to come. Okay. So as always, I always put it down kind of at a 45-degree angle, and I line up top to bottom and to the left side to just visually, and then as I lower it, I just kind of adjust it as needed to line everything up. Okay, and I'll do the same thing for this side. It actually might be easier if I lay it flat, and then it won't wiggle, right? And because I had flipped it over, I notice there's always like a lip from cutting, and I take my bone folder and I just smooth it down to give it a more finished look. Okay, so let's flip that over. I don't even know what the name of this fun fold is. I found it, like the fun fold itself, demonstrated by another demonstrator, and there was no name as far as I could tell. So if you know the name, tell me. I've never seen it before, and I don't know what the name is. Okay. I feel it's like probably something like Crisscross something or other. Okay, so that's good. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate first, and then I will glue it together afterwards, because I wanted to be able to complete the picture that goes underneath here without having to bang into the top flap. Okay. Yeah, it kind of is like an envelope, right? It is kind of like an envelope. So it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter which side goes on top. You decide. It's just that my beach house faces this way. So I did not have enough room. If I made it this way, I wouldn't have enough room to put the little, I don't know, what is that? What do you call that? Like a ramp. So the ramp would be, and the beach house itself would be kind of on the fold, on the edge of that paper. So I decided to fold mine this way. And let's go ahead and decorate the front, okay? So I'm going to take my 2 white pieces. Okay, so this one goes on this side, this one goes on the left side, okay? And what I did first is I actually blended on some sand and sky. So I'm just going to get a blank sheet of paper, a rough piece of paper, and I'm going to get my blending brush. And I'm using the same color palette. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah, I haven't pulled out the deckled rectangles in a long time, and it was actually Gail Ellis. I saw something that she had made that inspired me, that she had used for the beach card that she had made, and I liked the look, and I thought, oh, I really should bring that out. So that's why they've made their way back out. I think it works really well for this this set. Okay, so I'm going to take my blending brush, and we're going to put on some sand for this scene. Yeah, I think it looks really good with the beachy theme, right? I agree. The deckled rectangles, like I didn't love how they weren't straight in, like, I don't know how to explain it. Even though I know it's like, you know, bumpy and everything, but the line itself from end to end, somehow when I used them, didn't seem straight itself. Like I felt like they were sometimes on an angle. So anyways, it works well for this. It totally works well for the beach. So I'm going to take the same color and do the same thing on the other side. So you got to keep track of which, you know, which end is up of this triangle, right? So I'm just making sure, and before I put on my beach. A crisscross pocket card, that could work too. That's a great name. The pocket being, you know, because this is the one that I'm demonstrating, but you know, it's just a straight crisscross card without the pocket when you don't close it up. Okay, I think that's probably good. I'm going to do it a little higher on this side, I think. And then we'll bring in some sky for this scene. And I'm using the same color palette. It's brown, sorry, not brown, Crumb Cake and Pool Party. And then I used Poppy Parade for little, what do you want to call it? You know, the words just escape me. Every time I'm live and I'm under pressure to think of what a word is, suddenly my brain goes blank. A pop of color, that's what I was looking for. Hey, Shalee, nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so I'm just going to add on a little bit of sky. And if you're wondering why I kind of tap the brush off on the rough paper first, it's because sometimes when you have a very wet pad, you could end up with like a big blot of color, like a very heavy color, and you don't necessarily want that heavy color. So in order to blend slowly and achieve the color that you want, I always tap it off so that I don't get like a huge blot, and I start off the page and I blend onto the page. There we go. And let's do the same. Well, I'm just thinking, do I need that white area here? I think it's fine. Okay. Okay. So let's add some sky. There. It's a nice way when you blend on colors just to add like some background when it's really white, like the background is too white and it's just too stark. All right, so there's our background. If you notice, I used some little beachy stamps there. So actually, most of the stamps are from the beach stamps, the beach day stamps, but I did actually pull in one stamp that comes from the Friendly Seagull, just for variation, right? Oops. Okay. I'm gonna need this one, and I'm gonna need some shells. I'm just going to grab a little block for this, and let's stamp some seashells. Get this out of the way, you can see a little bit better, I think. So put some seashells under our lifeguard house. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Some seashells here. I don't think this will be seen, but I will add a little bit more over here. Okay. Let me find my Friendly Seagulls. See, there's a little bit of seashell. Those ones are bigger, but I like the little pebbling here, like little bits of gravel and stuff, I guess. Not gravel, rocks that you would find at the beach too. So I'm going to turn this one upside down and then turn it around again, add a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll add a little bit of like shrubbery or whatever. I contemplated using some green and different colors, but I like the kind of monochromatic look with just the two main colors and then adding that pop of color. And I just thought that if I added like actual greenery with the leaves and like the stamping here, it would it would just kind of detract from the pops of color, right? So that's why I left them more neutral. There we go. I think that's it for the crumb cake. I'm going to stamp the little lawn chair or the beach chair here because it needs to go underneath this flap. Okay. So I'm going to get a spare piece of white so that that we can color it. Okay, I'm gonna grab my Memento Black to stamp with. There we go. And let's color that with some Poppy Parade. I'm using the blends marker. Okay. There's a whole bunch of techniques in this card. Lots going on. So coloring, blending, die cutting. Put that away before I lose it. Okay, so I need to die cut that piece, and then I think I have all my pieces. I have like all the other pieces die cut already, and then we can assemble this card, and I'll show you how that works. Very, very easy. Okay, so I need to bring my cut and emboss machine back so I can cut that little lawn chair out. I'm glad you like that tip about the bone folder along the edges. I just feel that, you know, for my cards, I always notice that little lip when I cut. I don't know if it's maybe because I press hard. I don't know what it is, but I like to make it look more finished by making it smooth. So I found that using the bone folder was the best way to do that. Okay. Okay, let's run that through. I'm going to move this out of the way. All right, let's do the assembly. All right, so I'm going to assemble this side first. So let's glue this down. Okay, so again, we're just going to flip this over, put a little bit of glue on the back. And line this up. And like I said, the glue gives me a couple seconds to just move it around a little bit if I need to adjust the spacing. Okay, and I'll do the same on this side. And if you have your silicone mat and you prefer to use Stamp and Seal, you can use the silicone mat to get adhesive right into the tips of these corners without getting adhesive on your tables, because the tape will not stick to the silicone mat, so you can get right into those corners. But like I said, because these triangles sometimes they'll need a little bit of lining up after I lay them down, I like using glue so that I have that extra couple of seconds to move it around a little bit. Whoops, this is already getting stuck. All right, I think I've got it. Okay. All right, so now our background is done. Let me grab my tweezers. I love my tweezers because it helps me pick up those tiny little things without my fingers squishing them. Makes it so much easier. Okay, so my palm tree is going to go on first. I'm just going to lay it out just so that I know approximately where I'm going to put them. Here's my chair. And you just want to check, like when you're creating your own scene, whether you're duplicating this one or you're creating your own scene, that whatever you lay out is not, you know, covered by your flap here, right? So I think I'm going to move this over just a little bit more so you can see it better, right? That's why I'm laying it out first. Okay. So now I'm going to use that kind of like a placeholder. I'm going to leave my tree there, and we'll put our glue on this. Okay. And let's put it about here. And I'm just going to quickly check by closing this. And I'm going to move it over just a little bit more before I let the other side touch. Yeah, maybe even a touch more. There, I think that's good. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can press it down. And now I'm going to add glue to the back of the palm tree and stick that down too. I'm not going to use a lot of glue behind the leaves. If you want, and you know that you're not sending this through the mail where it's going to get smushed into whatever machines they use, if you're handing this off, then you could possibly even make these leaves stand out a little bit more by just giving them a little lift, but I'm not going to do that because I have a feeling I'll probably just mail this, and I'll want it to be flat. So let's do this. I'm trying not to let the leaves stick out beyond the side too much because I don't want those to get bent when it goes into the card. Sorry, into the envelope. My bad. And I think I'm going to lift it up just a little bit more. Yeah, so that the mat doesn't show behind, and then it looks a little bit cleaner. Okay, and this, my little grass, going to use it to cover the bottom of the trunk of the palm tree. And we'll also cover up the chair leg a little bit too, but that's fine. Just a little bit of glue. Perfect. All right, so that's the left side done. Let's work on the right side next. Actually, you know what? Oh no, I've already attached it. For some reason I thought I hadn't put the legs on on this little cabin. So let's put some glue on. I don't need a lot of glue to hold this down, so I'm just using little dots because I find that when I do, you know, the scribbling kind of adhesive, like application, my hand just kind of goes everywhere, and then I end up going right off the edge, and glue ends up sticking out. So that's why I like to use little dots. Okay, so I'm just taking a look at where I put it last time. I wanted the leg of my my little cabin to be in the weeds here, the shrubbery. And I need to make sure I have enough room for my little ramp. So it's going to go here, and I think that's fine. Just angle it down a little bit more. But I think I will pull it over just a tiny bit. Okay, well, let's just leave it there. All right, so we'll put down this. So it's a fun, this is a really fun set. Like, there's a lot of dies in this particular Beach Days set, and I think there's lots you can do with the different pieces, and it's fun to just assemble. And I need to play around with like colors and like changing the interior of those windows. Like, I have the interiors of those cut out in white, but you could do something fun with that. Lots to play with, for sure. Okay, so perhaps like this. I think I saw somebody. No, I don't remember. I don't know what I would put in my windows here, because I could actually put some kind of a scenery, or I don't know. I haven't figured out what I could stamp on here to make it fun. And I, you know what? There's a little bird. I gotta show you the little bird in this set. He's super cute. Look at that little guy. He's just so cute. I really want to use him somehow. And I feel like this set works so well with the Friendly Seagulls. If you haven't looked at them together, I really feel these two sets go together really well. So that's why I got the two of them together. Okay, so I'm gonna glue these in because I don't know, I felt like it was kind of weird looking right through the windows into the sky. So I'm going to put the white pieces in. Sandra's asking if there's a DSP that currently, a current DSP that coordinates with it, and no, I do not believe there is. Okay. Oh, just a tip for you. If you are wondering how I put this together, okay, so this little die, it cuts it out like this, right? So it's, you've got the 4 holes here. So rather than, I thought, oh, how am I going to put in the colored parts in the middle of these? So, oh yeah, vellum would work well. I like that idea, Sandra. Great idea. I like that. What I did was I cut 2. So I cut 1 in white, 1 in red, and then I just rotated the white and glued it to the red. So then you could achieve the red in here without having to match up the little tiny little pieces of red that come out of the centers of these. But I did do that. I did go ahead and do that so that they're all level, like the it's 2 layers of paper here. So I did do that, but you could get away with just matching up 2 of these die cuts, 1 in white, 1 in red, and then just rotating it and gluing them together. And then if you have trouble with those tiny little pieces, you don't have to worry about sticking them in. Okay, so that's a tip for you on using this one. Okay, so let me put the little flag. He's the last little bit that goes on the outside of this pocket card. Oh my gosh, so there we go. And I found that the flag was a little bit tall for my beach house. I feel like it should be a little bit lower, and it looks like I have enough room to just stick it in. Like last time when I glued this down, I put a line of glue, so I couldn't just slide in the what do you call this part? The spine? I don't know. That part I couldn't slide it in, so I ended up trimming it and just cutting it off. But this one I can slide in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply glue to the back of the flag. And we'll just slide it in. Okay. And again, I'm aiming not to have it stick out off of the edge of the card, because it can get crushed when you put it inside the envelope. So there, it just kind of lines up against the side and it won't get crushed. Okay, so that is the front of the card. So now that I'm done with the fronts of the card, and I'm ready to overlap them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue How did I do this? I actually put my fingers like this because it's pretty easy. You're not gonna try to put glue right up to the edge of your finger, right? You just want glue in this general area. Okay, so that's where I want my glue. Right? So I'm just gonna put glue here. And I'm going to be very careful when I lay it down that it's lined up. Because yesterday when I didn't quite line it up when I pressed it down, and then I had to like actually peel it up. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I don't know how that happened that I did not line it up, but it happens. There you go. Oh, now I remember what I forgot to do yesterday, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again. So what I meant to do before I glued this part down was to close this part. And now, so if you're smart and you're watching this video and you see it from beginning to end, I would recommend that you add the adhesive along the bottom edge and glue this bottom flap first to your card backing. Okay, but I can do it this way too. What I did was I took tear and tape, and I'm just going to eyeball how much I need. You're just going to close up the bottom of this card. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it open a little bit. I'm going to slide it in and line it up with the bottom edge. Whoops, didn't quite stick. I didn't press it down. I'm just lining it up and sticking it along the edge there. Sorry, I didn't let you see that. Here we go. Can you see that? Right? I'm just sticking the tear and tape along the edge. You can use glue if you do this before you shut the top, like I did, but this is possible as well, obviously. And then I'm going to pull off my tear and tape backing, and we'll just shut this. And now you've got a pocket. All right, so now I'm going to put in a piece that goes in the back. Okay, so the piece that goes in the back, or the insert, not in the back, so your insert is like a little mini card. You can make it a card or you can make it flat. I'll give you the measurements for both, but the final size is 5 1/4 by 4, I believe. Yeah, 5 1/4 by 4. So let's make it flat this time instead of an insert. Let me get some more crumb cake. And we'll cut that down to size. So I need 5 1/4. And 4 inches. Okay, that is the crumb cake. And I'm going to cut a similar piece in white so that I can die cut it, the white out of it using the deckled rectangle. I'm just looking for a piece of white. Okay, so here I'm going to take 5 1/4. By 4. Let's grab the deckled rectangle for that. I'm just going to double check that I cut the right size. I'm pretty sure this is, yeah, so this is going to fit exactly. Oh, Murphy's Law means that the phone's going to ring. All right. Let's bring in the cut and emboss machine. And my plates. So if you don't want to have to measure exactly or to try to line this up exactly, cut it a little bit bigger, but it does fit. Okay, I'm just checking that everything looks like it's going to make it and that it's on the paper. Let's cut that through. Perfect. But yeah, I would suggest cutting it slightly larger, and then you'd have more room to play with the die. But that is very little waste. Right there. Okay, so I added some sky onto the top so that when it's inside your pocket, kind of like, you know, it's sort of the same background, right? So let's bring back our blending brushes and the pool party. Yeah, so you could make this actually into an envelope for the card inside, or you can make it a flat greeting that comes out. So if it's flat, you may want to add a little pull for the card so people know that it comes out, right? I couldn't do it for this one. So that's the thing I ran into with this one, because it is a mini card in itself. If I added a little hole and like a pull, it wouldn't open properly, right? So I didn't add a pull for this one, but I think I will, because this this second card is going to be flat. So let's add a little bit of sky in the background. Doesn't have to go all the way down, so. Okay. I think that's good, and we'll stamp our greeting so that it appears right in the middle. I think that's upside down. Okay. And I'm going to stamp that in black. Okay, so I am actually going to put it back inside the pocket so that I know where middle is when I have this inside. It should be, I mean, like, it should be the middle of the card, but it just makes sure that I line it up with the V in my pocket. So let me just straighten this out. And stamp that. Perfect. And I added some flying seagulls, and that one is from the Friendly Seagulls stamp set, because they're more in the distance. So I find that they look like they're farther away. I wanted to use these ones instead. Okay. So I'm going to put it in this corner here. There. And that's pretty much the card. Oh, I'm going to actually try to put the pull. If I had actually, I should have left a little bit more room. If I put this down a little bit farther, I could put the pull here with no problems. It's going to be a little bit tight this time, but the pull will allow your, it'll kind of indicate to your recipient that there's something to pull out. And then this you can leave for writing on. You can write on the back, right? Let's see if I can put a pull on this. Okay, I'm gonna grab my punch. I have a little tiny hole punch. And I was debating between using Pool Party and the linen thread. I feel like the linen thread, the look of it would work better with this card, but it doesn't look right, I think, by itself. So I think I'm going to combine it. Okay, so let's take this out. And I'm going to punch the tiny hole like right here. And hopefully that will be enough strength. It'll be enough paper strength. And maybe what I do is, if I want to do that, I could double this up, like cut a second piece of white and then double it up, and that would make it a little bit stronger. What I'm going to do is cut off a piece here, and we'll thread this through. Okay, this is a little bit long, but we'll trim it to the appropriate length afterwards. Okay, so I threaded it through, and I'm going to tie it with a little bit of linen thread. I kind of like this combination of different types of material, and I think it looks really good together. So let's get this off. We'll tie this around the base. So I'm just going to move this down. I don't think it's long enough on the left side, so I'm going to have to adjust it just a second. There we go. Okay, and we'll tie this in a little bow to secure it. The ribbon itself is, sorry, not the ribbon, the linen thread itself wants to curl, which I normally, it's like nice that it does that, but sometimes it gets in the way when you're trying to tie a neat little bow. There we go. So now, okay, so now I'm going to trim these a little shorter because I don't need them quite so long, I think. Right. Okay. So now you can stick it inside, and hopefully that will let them know that they can pull this out, right? So that's our card today. And you can use your own stash to create your own scenery, or use DSP to decorate your front, just like I did with the other card. So let me bring that back in. Where did I put it? There it is. Okay, so here's the other one, and I had a variation on that, also using the same DSP pack to create this front as well. So these ones open, right? So you know how to make it open, or you can seal it shut and make it into a pocket, and you can pull out a mini card, or you can just make it like a little postcard with a pull. So I hope that inspires you to make your cards this week and have fun with that. It's really easy, and happy creating, and I will see you next week. Bye.